Hi, welcome back to DAG High Performance, and today I'll be showing you how to install new headlights on your TRX450R quad. And we're going to be using these Tusk super white bulbs. They claim to be brighter and wider than the standard OEM bulbs, so we'll find that out today. So first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pop your hood off. So we're going to do that by pulling up nice and gently. You don't want to snap any plastic off, especially if it's an older quad. And then you're going to, once this top piece pops off, you're going to push forward a little bit. It comes right off, so no bolts or clips to undo. So the next thing you want to do is we have a bolt here. And then we also have a bolt on this side. And then we have one right here in the middle where I'm touching. And then we're going to unplug our wires, and we're just going to take this whole assembly off so that we have more room to work with. Okay, so now we're just going to break this loose and take this bolt off over here, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so I got the first one out, and now we're going to move on to the next one. It's the same thing, but what I've learned is if you pop this one out up here, this little plastic retainer clip, it lets you actually be able to move this a little bit more with less resistance so you don't feel like you're straining your fender so bad. Take this one loose. Hopefully don't bust my knuckle. I'm going to take this one out. There's the last of those bolts. Now we're going to do the bottom one. The last one is just straight down in between here. Get the last one out, and our light is free. But before we get excited, we're gonna unplug this plug up here so that we can just take the whole thing out. Okay, and then we're gonna get this open. Come on, little buddy. There we go. So now our light is free. So we got our headlight out. Now, I was looking at this, and it looks like there's these clips that you'd be able to lift up and then pull this front lens off, but I was having no luck pulling this lens off. Alright, so now we're gonna just pull these black covers off. And it looks like we just got 2 screws. We're gonna unscrew those on both sides. Okay, so we got the second screw loose, and we're gonna be able to pull this whole thing out. So there it is. If you look closely, if it focuses, there's 2. That's one's for low and one's for high beam. So okay, so we got our second screws up, pop that out. And these black little rubber things, it's got an R for right and an L for left, and then on the it says top on the rubber, so you can't get too confused. So now to pop this off, if you look closely, there's this little track. So we gotta compress this top piece, top middle piece and bottom middle piece, and turn it, and then we can get our light bulb out. So that's pretty cool. So here we have our new one. We're gonna open it up in the back, and we can compare it. It has the high and low beam, the 2 different filaments that burn. So we're going to take this off the rest of the way. And we're going to slide this one up in there. So I'm looking here and I see that there's this little notch. And there's a little notch right there that can line up on. That's pretty slick, so then you don't get confused which side's your high and low beam. So you're going to put it in, back how we took it off, and rotate. And we're just going to check to make sure Our tabs are sitting on all of our points, and then we're good. And then we're just going to do the same thing on this one. Rotate, take it out, put the new bulb in. Same thing, we're going to take this, put it in, like so. And then we're going to rotate, and we got it locked in. Alright, now we're going to screw it back on. Now just a little tip I did, I marked on here left and right, just so there wouldn't be any confusion. And then it's got these little holes, so we can put our screws in there. Okay, we got our headlight back in there, got our screws nice and tight. Now we're just going to flip this back over, put her on there, make sure it's all the way down. Make sure this is pointed towards the other light. I'm going to screw this one in. Same thing, got our screws in there. We're going to push our cap on, make sure our wires are pointed good. And I put T here for this is the top of the light. And let's go reinstall it. I'm going to do this bottom bracket first. That lines up with that guy right down there. So I'm going to do that one first. Now I'm not going to snug this one down until I get my other two holes lined up first. That way I don't like twist the light and then somehow I can't get my other bolts and the threads lined up. And I'm just going to set this wire in here and clip it in because there's nothing stopping. Okay, so now I'm going to do these two. A little funner because you got the plastic that wants to put up a little fight with you. But we're not quitters. So I got that one started. And then I'm going to get this one started. And then once those are started, then I can torque them down. Okay, so now we're going to take our plug and we're going to plug this back together. Kind of fell down a little deep. So we got it. Can only go in one way. Make sure that it locked. In this case it did. And then we're going to come down here and put it back on our bracket and it locked. And take your hood piece and we're going to take these little guys. We're going to stick them in here. Make sure that they're lined up. And then we're going to slide forward. And then we're going to push down. And it snaps into place. And that looks beautiful. Alright, so now that we got our new lights on, we're going to go ahead and we're going to close up the shop and we're going to see how bright they are. So I'll give you a little glimpse right now. Alright, so we got all the lights off in the shop and the doors are closed. So we're going to go ahead, turn the quad on. So here's the lights. And then here is high beam and low beam.